Hey, it's Angelo Caruso. I want to tell a quick story about something that happened to me on an airplane one time. I was seated on the plane in the aisle, and I'm waiting for all the people to come on because someone's sitting next to me today. I don't know who it is. And a gentleman gets on the plane. He's an extremely large person. And I thought, honestly, I thought to myself, I hope it's not him. And it wasn't. He walked right past to the end, and then a beautiful woman got on the plane, and I thought, well, it could be her. And nope, she walks by me too. And then I heard my seatmate before I saw him. You know why I heard him is because he's talking on the phone like people do. I used to be annoyed when people talk on the phone in an extra loud voice, until I learned you could pick up some really interesting personal things about people just by listening to their cell phone conversations. That's kind of fun. Gets to my chair and he gives me his elevator speech, which sounds like this. And the scary part was I kind of know what he wanted. He wanted me to get up so he could sit down. I get up. He's got a roller bag that's going to go in the top. He's got a bag that's going to go under the seat. The bag under the seat has a luggage tag on it with the name of a Michigan manufacturer that I recognize. And I said to myself, I wonder if that's where he works. As he's taking his seat, he's now saying goodbye to his second child who does not want to say goodbye to Daddy. They soon announced they're closing the boarding door, and now the third child is yelling so loudly into the phone I can hear him from my seat. I don't have any children. I feel for the man. They close the boarding door. My friend says, my new friend, son, I'll be home in just a couple of days. Son, please don't cry. Son, Daddy loves you. Okay, I got to go, son. Please don't. And then he sighs as if the weight of the world is leaving his shoulders. And I turned to my new friend and I said, Daddy's leaving home, huh? And he said, oh, you were listening. Oh. And I said, how could I not? And I said, well, how many children do you have? And he says, I have 3 children. And I said, what are their names? And he said, well, we gave them S names, Sandy, Sally, and Scotty. Scotty's the oldest. He was the one that was yelling the loudest just now. And I said, wow, and how old are they? And he said, 4, 5, and 7. And I said, wow, and you travel a lot, do you? And he says, yeah, I travel between 10 and 12 days a month. I said, that's got to be hard for a daddy. I said, what do you do for a living? You work at that company that I saw on the luggage tag? He said, yeah, I do. I'm the sales manager there. And I said, why do you travel so much? And he says, because I got to make sure my salespeople put in a full day. And then he got a funny expression on his face, and he turned to me and he said, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Now, if you think about this, he's not really sorry he didn't get my name. He's sorry he's given a complete stranger so much personal information. I now know the names and ages of his children. I know how often he travels, I know where he works, what he does for a living, and I know his single biggest problem at work. He knows nothing about me, and it's time to play catch-up. So he gets that strange expression on his face, and he says, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. So I held out my hand first. Actually, he said, I'm sorry I didn't get your name. I held out my hand first, because I know the person who puts out his hand first has influence in any conversation. And I started to shake his hand, and I said, my name's Angelo Caruso. Now, my name by itself is an elevator speech. And he said to me, Angelo Caruso, he says, that's a fabulous name. He says, what do you do for a living? And I said, well, I teach sales managers how to get their people to work a full day. And he says, do you have a card? And the lady in front of us says, I want one too. More tips on how to tell effective stories and give better presentations at MichaelAngeloCaruso.com.